Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another great, awesome tutorials. And today we're gonna study GIMP. GIMP is a free program off the internet. It's a graphic program similar to Photoshop, and you can download this for free in their website. Okay, let's start. When you open up GIMP, there are three panels that will pop up in front of you: the toolbox, the main panel, and the layers, channels, paths, undo, etc. dialog boxes at the right. Now if you don't have this, you can just open Windows, click Windows, and recently closed Docs, and it will go back. Now at the left, the toolbox, we have different tools which we can use depending on the situation. For example, right here we have the move tool, we have the text tool, right here we have the scale tool, and we have others. And if you notice, if I click one of them, the advanced settings below changes accordingly. Okay, and another thing is if you hover, there is a description, scale tool, scale the layer, selection, or path, and the shortcut is Shift T. So you can press Shift T in your keyboard to go to that tool, and for the text tool you can press T, and for the move tool you can press M, and so on. Okay, to better illustrate this program, we're going to demo it, and today we're going to take a look at how we can recreate this graphic. Okay, this is a graphic I did early this morning, and it has a background behind it. We blurred it out, and on top of everything we have a grunge texture, and there's a text and a black plate behind it. Jordan Reyes, that's my name, and below it is the description, super guapo, which is true, of course, right? Okay, and essentially I have two pictures that we can use. For the background, I got this from Google Images. I typed in landscape, pressed enter, and downloaded this photo. And for the grunge texture, also from Google Images, this guy here. Okay, to continue, to do that we need to create our canvas. Let's go to File, New, and in the template, instead of 640 by 400 pixels, we'll create it from the template using the 640 by 480. It's a little bit small. You can use other templates, but for now let's use 640 by 480. Hit OK, and so now our main dialog box has this canvas that by default it has a by default the background is white, and we can change that later. So we need to put a background here. Let's go to File, open as layers, and navigate to the image that we need. In my case, that it's in the desktop right here. Click open. Now if I maximize this window, you can see that it's already there in our canvas. Let's hit view and zoom out, maybe 50% away. There we go. As you can see that the image we have inserted is a little bit bigger, so let's scale that down. Go to the tool, scale tool, click the image, and a dialog box will appear, will pop up, and it says the width and the height, the dimensions of the box. So we can scale this down by click dragging, but let's just make sure that this chain is linked. Okay, so let's scale that down a little bit. Press scale to OK. Almost the size of our canvas right there. There we go. So it's a little bit smaller. Let's scale that up again. Click the tool, click the image, and make sure this is linked. Press scale to accept. Okay, here we go. Now what I need to do is to blur this out I don't want this to be noticed by the audience, so let's blur this image out by selecting this move tool and selecting this background image, stunning. Let's just remove this background by clicking the background, white background, and pressing the trash here. Okay, so now we're left with this because we don't need that for now. Okay, let's select the image, the layer, and then go to filters, blur, and we'll apply a blur filter, Gaussian blur. Okay, this is the preview, and let's blur it about let's see, 15 pixels. Okay, let's press OK, and that will be blurred out, 15 pixels. I like Gaussian blur. Okay, next we need to add a text in front of everything. Click the text tool and click the middle of the canvas, and then another pop-up box will appear. Let's type in this box our name, press close to accept, but the text is quite small, so let's enlarge that by going to this text area and just click and make it bigger. Let's see here, about 65 or so. I want to change the font to my favorite font also by clicking the font. Let me see here, where's the font? There we go, Arial Bold. That's my favorite, and I have to change the color to white. And if you click the color, the swatches will appear, color swatches, and you can select the color by click and dragging, and you can choose the color that you like. In this case, I'm going to choose white. Press OK. Click the move tool and move the text. Make sure that the text is selected. Click and drag it to the center right here. Next, we need to create our black plate. Okay, let's hit this new create new layer and add it to the image. Okay, press OK. Now we have a blank layer on top of everything. Okay, let's put a black over everything of it. Let's go to the bucket tool, bucket fill tool. While this is black, click the center or anywhere in the area of the canvas right there. Okay, so if you can see here, the new layer is now filled with black because we used the bucket fill tool to fill it up with black. So now if I press this I switch here, which turns on and off the layer, as you can see, it's on top of all the layers. Okay, so now what I want to do is to scale this down, so I have to press this scale tool, click, and then click dragging. In this case, I don't want it to scale proportionally, so I have to unlink this by pressing this button here, this chain here. And now if I click and drag, it's scaling, it's distorting properly the way I want it. Press scale to accept, and now go to the move tool to move this around in space. Okay, so let's move this below Jordan Reyes text, this text, by pressing these up and down arrows. Now let's scale this by pressing the scale tool and just making sure that our text is covered properly. Press scale to accept. Okay, so there we go. Press the move tool to align it properly. There we go. We're finished. Almost finished. So I want to create another text by pressing the text tool. Click here and then typing whatever we want. I'll just type my course. Press close. This time I want it to be a little bit smaller, so I'll just click here. Okay, a little bit smaller. And instead of Arial bold, I want it to be bold italic. There you go. So it's a little bit curved. And the color, I want it to be a little bit dirty white or so. Press OK to accept. Okay, there we go. we need to create our background plate also for that BSCS, for that course thingy here. So let's just press this, select this layer, our plate, and duplicate it. How? Just go to edit, and let's see, it's not here. Cut, copy, cut, paste also will do, but here we have a shortcut key here, create a duplicate. Just press duplicate, and now it created a second copy. So let's just move that by pressing this move tool and moving that black plate, moving it here. So which of which is here, just try to determine by on and offing this switches, I switch. So this is the layer below. I'll move that below by clicking this arrow here, and let's scale that horizontally. Okay, scale to accept again, a little bit more, click, drag, press scale to accept. There we go. We are almost finished, but I want this to be a tad bit closer, and also the text. So I cannot select the text right now correctly sometimes, but you can select the text, and just a quick tip, move the active layer. So even if I press here, with this selected, it will move the active layer. Okay, now let's just go back to our layer guide. Okay, now that's almost finished. We're almost done. Okay, for our last touch, let's add our texture on top of everything. Minimize this window, file, and open as layers, and navigate to our grunge texture. Hit open, wait for it to load, and now again, if we maximize this window, we can see that the image is quite big. So let's just scale that down, or first let's rotate the image. Go to layer, transform, and let's flip this maybe 19 degrees. Okay, so now it's landscape. Now let's scale it down by clicking the scale tool and click the image, and right now I'm just gonna type in the values. Remember, our dimensions for our canvas is 640 by 480, right? So I'll just hit 640 by 480. Hit scale to accept. So now the image is same size with our canvas. Hit the move tool and try to align it to the center right here. Okay, there we go. It has to be perfect. It has to be perfect. I think that's about right there. Okay, let's put this on top by hitting these arrow keys to move it on top. There we go. So it's all, the grunge is over everything, above everything. Normally what people would do is to lower the opacity or the transparency of that layer so that the other layers will be a little bit visible, you know. But in my case, I'll just hit the opacity to 100. Do not change that, just put it to 100. And let's change the blending mode of the layer to maybe multiply or overlay. Now these modes, by the way, blending modes, or some call it transform modes, are algorithms that the program uses to mimic particular effects like the difference addition, and using the color of the selected layer and blending it with the layers below it. Okay, so for example, right here, right now I'm selecting this grunge texture and using the divide, where it's the grunge texture is divided over the colors of the other layers below it. So that's how it works. Just choose the ones you like. Okay, I'm gonna use multiply for now. So how do you save this? Go to File, Save, and just save it in the right place in your folders and name it the way you want. Just gonna save it as sitwork.xcf. So that's the file name of GIMP. And to export this as picture, go to File, Save As, and below, if you can see it, but it's there, select File Type, click that, and then navigate down by scrolling it down and look for JPEG. So here we go. If you click this, automatically this will update sitwork.jpg, and hit save, and it's gonna ask you, hey, I cannot handle transparency. Just say export, and hey, what compression rate? And just say about 90 or 85. Right now I'm gonna use 85. Hit save. It's gonna save, and once that's finished, now you can minimize and let's check it out. Here we go, Sitwork. So that's it. It's very good. That wraps it up for our GIMP tutorial Basics 101. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you liked it, you just check out my other tutorials, and we will see you next time.